We'll see.
Here we go.
So, so today we're talking about how does pain motivate our decisions, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So what does that mean? He has to add sound effects, right? Um, so, what does it mean? How does pain motivate our decisions? Do we allow um, pain to motivate what we do, how we do it?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is the difference in pain levels? Um, are some of the things that we'll discuss today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when talking about pain, pain can be described in, people have different feedbacks. Like you ask somebody, if you're feeling pain on a scale of 1 to 10, what does that feel like to you? Well, some people will say it's a 10, it's a 15, and it's like there's no way that could be a 15. But in their reality, in their mind, that's what it is, But it's always above and beyond, and that could be the ugly, that could be the bad. And then some people, they should be really having a lot of pain, but they say it's like a 1 or a 2. You're like, how in the world? So our pain thresholds are so different, and I always say it all depends on what it is. Women have to birth children. That could be very painful. Right? And there's no way that men could do that. No way. Okay? But I've seen women screaming at the top of their lungs saying, I do not want to live because it hurts so bad. But yet they were able to birth children. I always think it depends on the circumstances. A man can cut his hand off, duct tape it up, and drive to the emergency room, keep it from bleeding. But when it comes to having a sliver in his finger, a piece of wood, he's screaming bloody murder. So I think our perception on things a lot of times with pain can be different, just depending on what it is. So looking at this is like when we're having pain, are you allowing it to motivate you to look at managing or evaluating or assessing your situation? Like, does your pain allow any of that to happen, or is it just like, 110 to that and then that's all you can handle? Or do we think about it? Like, for example, if I went into the kitchen and I burnt my hand on the stove, and of course, I got to take care of my hand. I've got to wrap, first aid or whatever. But do I assess the situation and maybe making better decisions or doing something, if it's an accident? Do I go back in the next day and do exactly the same thing? Probably not. But do I stay out of the kitchen and I never go back in there again because I burnt my hand that one time because it hurt and it created pain? I should assess the situation, hopefully, and I make a different choice, a different decision, and I have my wife to just tell me to stop doing that ridiculous thing you just did because you're going to burn your hand again. But so sometimes the pain can actually be a good thing. It can be a bad thing and an ugly thing. So we're just going to, that's why we're putting the good, bad, and the ugly, because there is a thin layer of good that comes with that. Nobody wants to be injured. Nobody wants to have pain, but that is part of life. And what we're doing is we're looking at how can we learn from that? How can we look at the causes that's causing pain? And how can we change and make better decisions on that? And is pain motivating us only to think of the bad and the ugly and not make the change and look at the cause? Or are we looking at, okay, if I do this, there's a good thing why that happened. That was an alarm that went off that told me that I need to do something different. So in reality, there is a layer of good that can come from that out of pain.
Well, and there's different types of pain.
Right.
The way I look at it too, because there are times that we do hard things that cause a different type of pain.
Yeah.
It's like that was hard to do. But during that hard thing, if we also feel, whoa, something's just not right, that's a whole different type of pain, and that's more of an alarm type of pain.
Right.
So, sometimes our way of taking care of those types of pain is, like Donnie said, we just stop doing whatever the thing was, or we symptom manage. We just go, oh, well, I'm going to take some Tylenol or some Advil, instead of saying, okay, what was the root cause of that pain? Can I decipher, was it, how I lifted this item? Was it my body mechanics? Is it because there's a weakness somewhere or a tightness somewhere? And those are all things that we have to kind of look at, because, what we want to get to is where we don't have pain and we can continue doing the things that we like to do. But being able to understand the difference in pain. But when we have those, pains that, okay, something's not right, those are like little quiet alarms. And we can choose to, at that point, say, okay, what's wrong? Or find someone that can help me figure out what's wrong instead of just symptom managing it. Or, what I would call that would be maintenance. When our car's making a funny noise, most of the time we're going to take it in and have it maintenance to see what's going on. Or, some of us might just go, oh, whatever, and we just keep driving it, and it keeps making the noise, and it keeps making the noise, and eventually it breaks down, and we're like, well, what the heck happened? Well, it kept telling us that there was something wrong, and instead of maintaining that issue, we took it to a repair issue. And the same thing I look at is can happen to our bodies. If we just keep ignoring the signals and keep ignoring the alarms, eventually we're going to end up in kind of a maintenance type situation where, we might be having to get back surgery or hip surgery or knee surgery, or, end up in the hospital for a long period of time, or end up not being able to do the activities that we really enjoy doing because we didn't listen to our bodies.
Yeah.
Our bodies are pretty amazing, and they give us lots of signals. It's just learning how to listen to them, and then gaining the tools and the strategies to keep them well oiled and maintained.
Right. So, and that right there is a difference between being proactive and reactive. So being proactive is those bells and whistles that go off in your car or your body. You work on those things. You take notice and ownership of that, and you work on changing those things and the causes. So then if you don't work on it, then when something does happen, what does that do to you? It puts you in reactive. So it makes you react to something versus being proactive of something. So being proactive is way better than being reactive in so many different ways. Because then it's like, why did this happen? It just happened. But if we looked at all the points leading up to that, that would have been a proactive way that we're dealing with it versus waiting for the moment it happens. Then that's been a reactive state of that off of there. So, not only that, but pain can create dependence. Your pain can actually create dependence on things, and avoiding the cause. Okay, so rather if you're depending on certain things because of that pain, and not looking at the cause of it, you're avoiding it. That can be detrimental to your body. So really, in some ways, we need to be working on the cause, what creates that pain. And that way we can create the independence. That's what we're looking for, right? In our own body. So if you don't initiate or really bring pain to the forefront, okay, what can I do different? Then that pain can actually be your teacher of dependence. We want to use the pain as a creating of an independence. So work and finding where the cause is, and that's where we can create that change that we're needing.
And it can create more issues.
Yeah.
Because it might start with the pain because of one thing, but when we start babying that pain and cringing away from that pain, we can create tensioning other places.
Yeah.
We can create weaknesses in other areas. We tend to stay away from that area, so then we get really out of whack because we're compensating for that thing. So that's where it's really important to be able to, again, go back and figure out where is this pain instead of just ignoring it, and what is the root cause of it first, and then how can I make changes to that? How can I better that? And that's where we can, start to find, that help to help us get out of, start figuring out those strategies to figure out where the pain is, what the cause was, and how to start rewinding and making differences. So, if you're sitting there going, I really need to figure that out, because I do have that little, naggy little thing there. That's where we, our specialty is working with those areas. And probably one of our favorites is, we love being detectives. I guess you could call us body detectives in a way. Movement
Sherlock
detectives.
Holmes.
So, being able to go in there and figure it out and give you strategies for so that you can continue to live your life doing the daily things that you like to do for as long as you want to do them. So, if that's something that interests you, we would, say hop on to what we call our self-reliant body strategy chat, where we can just kind of chat through, what's going on, the questions that you have, and some ways and strategies to work on those. So we'll drop that down in the comments, and if you want to jump on one of those, they're like 20 minutes, and you can just we can chat through it and talk about that, because who wants to live daily in pain? I know I don't like to. And I'm grateful that I've been given the strategies and learned the strategies over the years to become more aware of that in my own body. And when I can't figure it out myself, thankfully I have him. But prior to that, I had my movement educators who taught me. So it's always good to have someone in your corner to help you through that.
Yeah. Even the greatest athletes have trainers, we all need help from other people and so forth. So, it's good to have a strategy team working with you. All right. So you all have a blessed day, blessed week. And obviously
have an awesome weekend.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty.
Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye.